I recently made a video explaining why Tesla has already won autonomy just as they're starting to scale production of their dedicated Robotaxi, the Cybercab. I've since made a written post on X, the exact same content and same arguments, and in both, I urge people who had points of disagreement to explain why I'm wrong. In today's video, I'm going to be responding to the criticism, the critiques, everyone pointing out why I'm wrong, how I'm wrong, explaining why there's no need for any magic catch-up to Tesla buttons. Hopefully I'll learn a few things along the way. We'll start with comments on the X article and then head over to the YouTube comments section. We have the first counter-argument here on X. LOL, Tesla blind fans are really funny and stupid. A very well-reasoned counter-argument. I hadn't thought of that. Thanks for opening my eyes there, Hugo. A slightly more reasonable counterpoint from Andrew here. Legacy competitors have the regulatory capture weapon. Established interests will come together to get their politicians to hobble Tesla. Staying elected is of more immediate importance than the road safety cost of legal restrictions. Now, I do understand Andrew's point here, although I find this exceedingly unlikely. There may be a few geographical exceptions where this might play out, but I think broadly speaking, we are talking, of course, about a global robotaxi service. I don't expect there'll be too many people who are in a position to make regulatory decision, who will be willing to face the consequences of intentionally hobbling Tesla's rollout of demonstrably safer than human autonomous vehicles in their local areas. The next counterpoint, the risk is that Tesla again overestimates their ability to achieve safe, unsupervised self-driving. User in essence saying, what if it's never safe enough? To which I would respond, I think the list of injuries and fatalities that have occurred in a fully autonomous Tesla vehicle, which again, for the record, are legally operating in 3 US cities, is still zero. I don't think safety is really the question now. The software continues to improve, but it's already safe enough that both Tesla and regulators are happy for their vehicles to be operating at small scale in some cities in the US. This is really, what if it happens slower than you think it's going to happen? Which it already is happening slower than I expected, actually. But that doesn't change anything in my core thesis. None of the points about Tesla's cost advantage, their scale advantage, their software advantage, none of that has anything at all that changes if the rollout happens slower than both Tesla and myself would like and or expect. The next extremely well-reasoned counter-argument, I'm kind of disappointed that my picture's not actually in this image, but imagine being somebody that's so satisfied with their own life that they're making an anonymous account on X, taking screenshots meticulously when somebody's halfway through a blink. They don't have any actual argument, so the best they could do is try to mock and ridicule, not reason, but do this. I really am disappointed my picture's not in here, bro. Come on, step it up, whoever posted this. And we've already reached the end of the counterpoints, at least on X. I've asked Grok now to read all the comments on the YouTube video. I've had to export them because Grok can't scroll through the comments and load all of them. There's about 400 in total. I've just asked for a list of all the counterpoints, the criticisms, the counter-arguments, and so on. Let's see. So Grok's done the analysis, the summary, roughly 90% or so are extremely positive, blah, 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 which means that about 10% of the comments, which would be about 40 actually, would be somewhat negative, skeptical, feature rebuttals, and so on. So Grok says, below are every single substantive rebuttal and counterpoint comment we extracted, quoted verbatim, blah, blah, blah. I've grouped near identical repeats. Oh no, people complaining about pedal gaps, for readability, but listed every unique voice. Okay, first one. These have steering wheels and drivers, guys. I live in Austin. None of these you see on the road are autonomous. It's not happening. Well, I am convinced. I will ignore the videos, the countless videos of passengers in fully autonomous, driverless Tesla vehicles in Austin, and in fact believe this anonymous user on the internet who tells me that they live in Austin and there's definitely a driver in every vehicle. I'm convinced. This is a bizarre one. Apparently somebody's correcting me, claiming that Robocabs, which maybe they mean Cybercabs, have been produced for personal ownership as well as cab use. Zero evidence to support this claim. It's true that Tesla will likely in the future sell Cybercabs to people to operate as autonomous vehicles, but no indication whatsoever that they'll be sold to customers. But even if they are, this is not a counter-argument, Grok. That was just somebody adding some more alleged information. Hope there's some more. Oh, here we go. SMR is wrong about data. This is good. Data quantity is not as important as data quality. Wait, did I make that claim? No. There's a reason Tesla still needs to collect extra data with LiDAR mounted on the car. Now, I will respond to this as politely as I can. If you have a sieve and you're sifting through data to find the quality nuggets that you require for training, how do you end up with the most nuggets? Answer, by sieving through the most data. By the way, the reason that Tesla does some extra pre-testing with LiDAR mounted on vehicles is to validate their sensors. E.g., is this camera telling us what it should be telling us? Oh, it is, great, no problem. Hopefully there's some better counterpoints than these so far. I'm not sure if this is sarcasm. 10 million cars collecting data, but Waymo are ahead with 3 cars. Oh, okay, I see, yes. Waymo is ahead. This is somebody who failed to respond to any of the points. The whole thesis was, here are the foundational blocks Tesla has in place to dominate autonomy over the long term. If your thinking doesn't get beyond Waymo has 3,000 cars, which by the way, it doesn't. I think it's closer to 1,500, maybe approaching 2,000 now. They're roughly going to get to 3,000 by year's end. If this is your measuring stick, Waymo has 3,000 vehicles by, let's say, end of this year, therefore they're ahead. This doesn't respond to any of the points I made in my video/article. It does not address Tesla's data and software advantage. It does not address their unmatched vehicle costs. It does not address their scale and their speed of production at all. On to the next. On the magic button and AI breakthrough being possible. Quote, how could you be wrong? Or how you could be wrong. Whatever. Someone develops a learning system which requires a fraction of the data to solve FSD. I guess Ben didn't finish the video before posting this, so I don't want to be too much of a douche to Ben, but I literally did address this in both the video and the post, explaining to people, helping them out, saying, here's how you might respond, here's what a smart person might say. Well, eventually AI will become so good that hardly any data will be needed to solve autonomy, which is true, but irrelevant. You guys, if you haven't seen the article, just pause it, read this, or watch the original video. Again, I literally say in my post and in the video, I will concede the first point, eventually autonomy is likely to become trivially simple to solve, but that's going to take time. And while that's taking time, Tesla's going to be scaling their fleet of robotaxis around the world. In the long term, the software is not what matters in determining the ultimate winner. Assume everyone has equally capable autonomy, then what matters? Cost, wait times, nothing else. So far, I'm not overly impressed with these responses, but maybe there'll be some good ones here. Well, unfortunately, this comment is not a rebuttal to any of my points. It's just somebody whining about it taking longer than expected. But again, as I mentioned earlier, that doesn't actually address any of the points in my thesis. Here's somebody whose username says whinge. Curious. This is performative fluff. Delayed FSD. 14.3, not the final piece of the puzzle. Regulatory approval deadlocks, which is why we don't have any legal autonomous Teslas operating anywhere today, right? Oh, but we do. Composite body casting and inductive charging conspicuously absent. And did anyone else notice the giant gap on the hood of the Robotaxi number 1, which, by the way, the frunk was open. A few people, I don't know if they actually thought that it was a big panel gap or weren't aware that it has a frunk, but the frunk was open in some of those shots. Boy. Okay. Surely there's got to be some good counter arguments, right? Here's one. It's a disaster. Musk said in no uncertain terms that the software is nowhere near ready, and they are... oh boy. And they are mass producing a product nobody can use. That is Tesla's worst and final mistake. Again, I remind everyone listening that they're already legally operating fully autonomous Model Ys in 3 cities in the US, 2 of which launched about 2 weeks ago. Next, Cybercab production is great only if FSD is Robotaxi ready. True. You don't want to be making vehicles you can't use. It's a good thing Tesla's already legally operating driverless vehicles in 3 cities in the US. How many times must I repeat that? Apparently on BYD. They said BYD can't come close to Tesla, but it did. So don't tell me it's... Clearly this user did not watch the full video before posting this. As I said in the video, BYD is certainly selling roughly as many fully electric vehicles as Tesla, but Tesla's Model Y is outselling all of BYD's models in China and selling it 3 to 4 times the price of a typical BYD. And BYD, according to my argument, is still not actually making money selling electric vehicles. So BYD has not come close to Tesla. Here's one, not really a counter argument, but somebody adding their opinion. Still think they should have built a 4-seater or 5-seater version of the car. 2 people, first car with families game. I think they're just saying sometimes there's families that want 4 to 5 people. Can't wait around for a Model Y. There's a reason smart people buy 2 lines the Model Y. What the fuck? I think what they're getting at is Tesla's retarded, and obviously they should not have designed a dedicated vehicle specifically to cater to 90+% of trips, which are 1 to 2 passengers at most, because catering to 90% of the market and then supplementing that final 10% with an existing fleet of Model Ys, 3s, SX, and even Cybertruck is a very bad idea. Instead, they should have implemented a fully functional, additional autonomous vehicle and manufacture them at volume just to cater to the times when you need a 4 or 5-seater ride, instead of incentivizing customers to supplement the fleet with their existing 10+ million vehicles on the planet. This is a very poor take. I mean, it might sound good on paper, right? But then why wouldn't you say, why don't you just make a 12-seater? I mean, sometimes you need more than 5 people. Why don't you just make a 12-seater again? And by the way, spoiler alert, eventually Tesla is, which makes almost this entire conversation a null point. The Robo van. You guys have to understand, In business, you don't want a product for literally every single person on the planet. You don't want a service for literally every single person on the planet. If you have to make a choice, a decision, if there's constraints and limitations, you want to think about the Pareto principle. Where do you get the biggest return? You want to cater to the 80+% of the market. There is a cost to additional vehicles. And I don't just mean cost to make them. I mean a cost of intellectual energy, engineers, resources, time, everything. It's additional complexity. Why would you go to the effort of designing a 4 or 5-seater autonomous vehicle when you already have produced roughly 10 million of those very things that customers will be able to add to the fleet to supplement your 2-seater vehicle? Okay, so the pedal gap's the first quality here. Somebody's obviously shit posting. Yeah, what about the pedal gaps? No one is going to ride in something like that with those pedal gaps. Yeah, these people are all trolling. This is a funny one. I love it, but why are they coloured like a Soviet-era prosthetic limb? So some people about the colour cool. Let's move on. None of those are actually counter arguments. Other minor and practical counters. Unclear purchase and lease details and costs. Regulatory approval in China still needed. Yes, by the way, Tesla did give us an update. Currently underway. I'll believe it when I see thousands on the road. Fair enough. Only, 997 to go. And so now Grok has aggregated all the distinct counterpoints. As in, we've just read through the specific ones, but now these are grouped. It's not happening yet. Still has steering wheel and drivers. Except for the Cybercabs that don't have steering wheels and the Model Ys operating in 3 cities that don't have drivers or supervisors. No one from Tesla in the vehicle. Bro, is this seriously it? Grok's been scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Reiterating the person who said that Cybercab will be for personal ownership too. The 2-seater design being too limited. Bro, this is it. God damn it. I was really expecting a few decent points. The best we came up with was the regulators might slow Tesla down for nefarious reasons due to incumbents. That was it, right? The only half legitimate counterpoint. Does that mean I'm right? Tesla's already won autonomy and it's just a matter of watching this play out. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.